What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Torino Career Mode. This is episode number 62, and we start today's episode off with West Ham coming in for our young winger Keita, who we signed in the summer transfer window for £6 million. They want to buy him for £5.5 million. We asked for £16.25 million, and as you'll see, West Ham say no. Also, Lille came back to us regarding Fabian Schär. Now, in the last episode, they came in for our centre-back. I can't remember what the initial bid was. I think it was £5 million. Anyway, we asked for £7 million, and as you can see, they came back and said, we'll give you £6 million. So I was like, well, that is £1.6 million over his valuation. But of course, right now, De Vrij is currently sidelined with an injury. But I was thinking, Schär hasn't grown a single attribute. He's clearly locked for potential, not going to grow. And I thought, do you know what? £6 million? Yeah, take him. Go ahead and take our centre-back, because whenever he did play last season, yes, he was partner for Maximovic, and we did win the title last year, that's true. But he was always a little bit inconsistent. There were some games he played quite well in. There were some games he was quite vulnerable in. A lot of the time he was way too far at the pitch. That's the curse of having a high attacking work rate on a centre back. So I said, you know what, you can take him for £6 million, and we'll look to reinvest in a new centre back. The board gave us 975 grand as well after I asked for some money. As you can see, just under £1 million got for the board there, so that's not too bad either. And also, as well, you can see some inquiries I put in for a few centre-backs there, as I look to replace Fabian Schär, who is almost certainly off to France. So, yeah, Schär looks like he's on his way out. We're going to sell our centre-back, and of course, with De Vrij currently injured right now, you may have thought that's a bad deal, but I think you have to look at it this way. Like, Schär was never going to grow any more ratings, and, don't forget, we signed him for free, so we're making a profit on the guy regardless, and I was never too convinced by him, and we've got a few £1 million left over. I'm confident that during this time where we don't have too many key games, we can afford to have De Vrij still sitting on the sidelines, and Maximovic without a proper registered really good centre-back partner. It's going to be Engels or Janssen, clearly, most likely, or maybe even push Motta back down and play centre-back. I think right now we can live without Schär and live without De Vrij still injured, and then look for it to buy a new centre-back to come in before the end of the transfer window, before we start to play bigger games in February, like the Champions League round of 16, for example. So yeah, Schär is almost certainly going to go to Lille, and I'm okay with that. Yes, not the best deal and not the best timing, considering we have De Vrij currently injured, but I think we'll be okay. Still, we take on Catania for the first game of today's episode here in the Coppa Italia. The first chance did fall to the away side, the second chance fell to us, but Lazzaro's shot was well saved by the goalkeeper and eventually cleared away. In the 11th minute, we had another good chance here. Zardes finds Lazzaro, cuts past his man, looking pretty threatening early on. Our young winger, he goes to shoot here, and again, Friesen makes the save, and it's eventually put behind for a corner. So still Torino 0, Catania 0, both sides having early chances. But in the 26th minute, Zardes gets played through. Really good chance here for our American striker, who goes through 1-on-1 and also scores as well. He started the season off really brightly, then seemed to stop banging in the goals left, right and centre like he was at the beginning of the season. But as I mentioned with Zardes before, if you give him an extended run in the first team, he'll score us goals. I say if you give him, I'm the manager. If I give him an extended run in the first team, he'll score me goals. And as you can see here, I gave him the chance here against Catania, starting the game up top with Paragini, and he opens the scoring just before the half an hour mark. So Zardes makes it 1-0 to Torino, and in the 34th minute, a good chance to make it 2-0. Lazzaro wins the ball back here. We go on the break, plays a brilliant free ball towards Paragini, who goes through 1-on-1 and also scores as well. And Paragini, of course, is a Torino player who was here when we took over. He was, I believe he was actually loaned out in the first season already, came back to us last year in the second season, and I thought about possibly letting him go, but I thought he's still quite young. At that time he was 20, so I loaned him out for a full season. This is him making his debut in this game for Torino, despite this being our third season and him being here as a Torino player since the very beginning. He's actually making his debut in this game for us. I thought I'd give him a chance, see what he can do, and he scores on his debut too. So Torino 2, Catania 0, and we extend our lead in this game. So 2-0 to the home side. And in the 38th minute here, Catania looking for a route back into this game. Falco also making his debut, makes a really good save and catches the rebound. But what followed that was just one of those moments where you drop the controller in shock and you think, was this my fault? Was this really bad luck? Or are the FIFA gods just plotting something against me? Because Falco makes a great save, catches the rebound, and then for some strange reason, Janssen just knocks the ball out of his gloves, and Falco hits the deck, and a Catania striker capitalises and just blasts the ball into the open goal. So, making his debut and conceding his first goal in professional football, as Lodi makes it 1-0 there, but there was nothing I could do about it. He just dropped the ball after Janssen ran into him, or he ran into Janssen even. So Torino 2, Catania 1. A bit of bad luck, really. I'll take the blame, but even so, a bit of bad luck. I don't know how he dropped the ball when it was in his gloves there, but either way, Torino 2, Catania 1, and the away side are back on level terms. But in the 40, just 1 goal behind us right now, and have cut the lead to just 1. But the lead would go back to 2 goals on the stroke of half-time. Another goal for Vittorio Parigini. He, of course, was out on loan this season as well. We sent him out to Brescia on a short-term loan. I thought it was a season-long loan. Evidently not. It was a short-term loan. So he came back, and he's also scored his second goal whilst he's making his debut in this game. So Torino 3, Catania 1, and also on the stroke of half-time, Falco makes up for the error there. Really good save and keeping it a 3-1. So good stop, and it is still 3-1 going into the break. So in the second half here, right from kickoff, with us leading by 2 goals here, 3-1 to Torino. We were playing a backup side, of course, and I was wondering how we were going to do in this game because, of course, don't forget the board this year have set us an aim to win this TIM Cup. So I was wondering how I was going to be doing with a weaker side out there, knowing that the pressure is going to be on in every single game. But we were handling it really, really well, and from kickoff as well, we passed the ball around. Catania didn't have a single touch of the ball right from the first second when we kicked off, and Parigini grabs his hat-trick and makes it Torino 4, Catania 1. So I don't know how much potential this young striker has got, but a hat-trick in this game in 48 in-game minutes, I mean, you know, seriously, this showed me that he deserves at least a chance every now and then, just like Zardes gets. So Torino 4, Catania 1, and also how the game would finish as well, a 4-1 scoreline for the home side. So we are through to the quarterfinals of the Coppa Italia, courtesy of Parigini's hat-trick and a goal for Zardes as well. Catania didn't actually play too badly in that game, but the problem they had was they weren't clinical enough. As you can see, 7 shots on target for them and only 7 shots in total, only 4 on target compared to our 8 and 7. That said it all, really. And as you can see, Parigini was my man of the match with a 9.9. That's currently the highest we've ever had for a player getting a rating, so that was kind of cool. And we are through to the quarterfinals, which is great, so I'm really pleased with that. And again, the board has set us the aim to win this competition. I'm not really sure whether we'll be able to do so, but I hope we can and pick up our third trophy with Torino. But we'll have to wait and see. Still, Fabian Schär does indeed head off to Lille. He's left for £6 million. We'll see 5 million of that. Are we going to regret selling Schär? Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Are we going to regret selling Schär? Because, of course, don't forget De Vrij is still currently injured right now. And right now, Janssen and Engels, one of those two will be starting with Maximovic most likely, whilst De Vrij still currently sits on the sidelines. So are we going to regret selling Schär? Let me know in the comments. We've got about £12 million to work with once we adjust the wage budget as well. So, yeah, not too sure whether we will regret selling him or not, because we have the money to bring in a centre-back of his ability anyway, a replacement of his ability, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. I think, though, we'll be okay, because Engels will come in. Engels doesn't get too much game time, but whenever he plays, he does all right, so I think we'll be okay, but let me know what you guys think in the comments, and there you go. Still, you saw me put in some bids there for quite a few centre-backs in quick succession. We had Nkulu, we had Alderweireld as well. There were like 3 or 4 or possibly even 5 centre-backs we were looking at there. So we're going to wait and see what those clubs say regardless. Most of the bids are around 10 to 12 million pounds. We'll wait and see what the clubs say. And I'm confident we'll be able to replace Fabian Schär with a good enough centre-back who can not only be as good as him in terms of the overall, but also one that will actually grow as well, which would be helpful for us. So either way, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Still, we take on Fiorentina for the second and final game of today's episode here. And Engels would indeed come into partner Maximovic at the heart of our defence. But it wasn't a defence that needed to be tested in the first 5 minutes for us. It was Fiorentina's defence that needed to be tested, and they didn't handle the test very well either. We won the ball back after they gave the ball away. Florenzi came forward, played it for after the ball roll inside towards Dybala. No one picked him up, and the Argentine striker cushions the ball into the back of the net and gets his 11th goal of the Serie A this season. So looking like a very good signing for us. We signed him in the summer, and it's now Fiorentina 0, Torino 1. And in the 12th minute here, Immobile turns provider for Gabbiadini to make it Fiorentina 0, Torino 2, and we double our lead here before the 13th minute in the game. So Gabbiadini making it 2-0 to Torino. I loved it from my Immobile as well. Like, so many times in that situation, I'll sort of just cut inside and go for goal myself with the striker, but I thought, do you know what? I've got 2 men over there. I may as well give it to one of them. So I gave it to Gabbiadini. He goes through and makes it Fiorentina 0, Torino 2. So 2 goals up in this game already. In the 15th minute, a good chance to make it 3-0 as we tried to pass out from the back, but I completely messed up here, because usually I'm really good at passing out the back and creating chances right right from the back, but in this instance that clearly wasn't the case because I gave a chance for Fiorentina instead. And I talked about with De Vrij currently being injured, either Engels or Janssen coming in, possibly one of those two not being up to the task. Well, it wasn't Engels in this instance that gave the ball away and made the mistake. It was Maximovic, our captain. I tried to pass out from the back, gave it away. Fiorentina came forward and smashed the ball in. So Fiorentina 1, Torino 2, and the home side are back in the game and just reducing the deficit to 1 goal there. My mistake with the Maximovic there clearly, and it is 2-1. But 2-1 soon became 3-1 in the 25th minute. Hakan Çalhanoğlu went down the right-hand side, rode the slide challenge, and our Turkish midfielder drilled in the cross. Who does he pick out? Paulo Dybala for another goal. That's now his 12th goal in the Serie A this season. Nice little assist for Çalhanoğlu there. Already picked up quite a few of those this season. Drilling in the cross and picking out Dybala, and the Argentine striker is not going to miss. So Fiorentina 1, Torino 3. And in the second half, right from kickoff, just like the game against Catania, we wanted a chance right from the beginning. We work our way forward here with Alexandro getting on the ball down the left-hand side. He fake shots around Tomovic, gets himself inside. They're playing catch-up to Fiorentina defenders. Eventually he cuts inside, gets pushed to the ground, and he hits the deck, and the referee has no hesitation in awarding a penalty to Torino. So definite penalty there. Tomovic got skilled, tried to catch up and make amends for being done, I guess, and ends up pushing him to the ground, and the referee gives a penalty to Torino. So penalty to the away side. Immobile was standing over it, but of course we were going to give it to Dybala. On a hat-trick here, a great chance to make it Fiorentina 1, Torino 4, and grab another goal for Torino, and of course he would as well. The goalkeeper does dive the right way, but he can't get anything on it, and Dybala, just like Paragini did, grabs a hat-trick and makes it Fiorentina 1, Torino 4. So the 3 goals up in this game, a 4-1 scoreline as things stood. Dybala rifling in the penalty, and as you can see, 4-1, his 13th goal in the Serie A this season. I am so glad we did sign this guy in the summer transfer window. In the 53rd minute, Fiorentina did have a good chance to get themselves back in the game, but Vargas' strike went wide the post and behind for a goal kick, and it was how the game would finish as well. Fiorentina 1, Torino 4, 2 consecutive 4-1 scorelines in a row. A really, really solid performance in both games as well, and in this one we dominated possession really and thoroughly deserved the win, just like I felt we did in the Catania game as well, as we notched up another win in the Serie A and remain top of the table. But that does end the episode, guys, so as always, a big thank you for watching the video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed today's episode of Torino Career Mode, then please do leave a like, it's much appreciated. It really does help my channel out. Of course, you don't have to leave a like if you don't want to, and I'll see you for the next episode very soon.